Hello and welcome to this episode of Caught on Camera, where we take a look at frustrating and tough disputes between neighbours. Coming up, we see a 10,000 square foot man cave demolished after a 10-year planning row. Mess left behind after a monster mansion was demolished. And the moment fly tippers through an industrial fridge onto a residential road. But first we see how a couple watched their neighbours allegedly land grab their garden on CCTV while they were on holiday.
Hello, happy holidays in Portugal.
CCTV shows the moment a couple say their neighbours land grabbed their garden while they were on holiday.
There's the cameras on us already.
Yeah.
We're going to have to run it from here, put the post whatever, and with the panels and that's.
The couple say they watched on in horror as their boundary fence was removed, their patio dug up, their shed torn down and trees and shrubs chopped away by contractors working for their neighbours. They also erected a fence to claim the new boundary. The couple put their own fence back in its original position, but the fence was again taken down and people were seen entering and carrying out work in their garden without consent, again while they were on holiday. Different surveys have been inconclusive on the boundary at their Surrey home, with only crude deeds drawn up in the 1930s before the homes were built 20 years later. The neighbours declined to comment on the dispute, but claimed they had been the ones harassed. This before and after footage shows the clearing of a makeshift dump at a property in Stafford. Families said the festering eyesore had been making their children ill and attracting rats which were invading homes. The mountain of junk was finally cleared after 14 months following a row with the local council. One resident said that the situation had been an absolute nightmare, but that they can start to move on now. Another local emphasised that the rubbish should never have been allowed to get to the point it did, and that they found it disgusting that it took so long to be cleared. This is a millionaire who fought for more than a decade to keep his illegal 10,000 square foot man cave. The row started in 2014 when he built the leisure complex, which includes a bowling alley, a sports hall and a squash court at the back of his home in Gloucestershire without planning permission. Forest of Dean District Council have now demolished the man cave, with drone footage showing it resembling a concrete car park. The council said they would be pursuing costs for the demolition from the man, who declined to comment, and thanked local residents for their patience and understanding during the process. One local resident said they were delighted to see the man cave gone, saying it's about time. Shocking footage shows how fly tippers turned a residential street into a public tip with a 60-foot mountain of rubbish. The household waste could be seen stretching for 20 metres along a West Midlands pavement. Residents said they were unable to open their windows due to toxic rubbish being burned day and night. One resident said she was embarrassed to have her children and grandchildren around to her home, saying you could barely step foot out in the street. Another frustrated local said he felt this would not have been allowed to happen in a nicer area. The council issued an enforcement notice relating to the site. This is the moment brazen fly tippers shoved an industrial fridge off the back of a vehicle onto a residential street in the dead of night. A resident who caught the fly tipping on his doorbell camera reported the incident to his local council and the police, with workers arriving on the scene in East London around an hour later.
They just dumped it about 5 minutes ago.
Barking and Dagenham Council said workers made the site safe by rolling the fridge from the road and pavement to the grass and contacted their street cleansing service to remove the fly tip. The resident says this is not the first time fly tipping has taken place on his road, with another video showing a white van driving down the road as rubbish spills out of its open doors. Two warring pensioners have finally settled a neighbour boundary dispute that had raged on for decades.
Our neighbour on that side decided that she wanted to steal quarter of an acre of our land, which of course we didn't agree with. We've had surveys done that have told her that our line was correct. She's had one survey that tells her that her line is correct. But all the way along she has been obstructive, she's ignored letters, she's not wanted to do anything other than put her fence in the position that she feels is correct, which is wrong with all the surveys.
I had a surveyor, he came along, yes, and placed the markers, and when I informed Mr. Ian Revel that the markers had been placed, he came along and threw them out all over the field. So I had to pay again, asked them to get a surveyor. But when my surveyor came, I just let him get on with the job. I don't know nothing about surveying, but his surveyor came along and I don't know why or how they got the fence where they wanted it. The judge said he didn't believe me that I put a fence up, even though I'd got a photograph there. He told me I lied. The barrister of Mr. Revel asked me if I did catch Mr. Revel and his late father moving the fence, and I says yes I did, and he just turned to me and said, "You lied."
Here, we see mountains of dumped rubbish on what a resident described as a Walking Dead style estate in Birmingham. A local Labour councillor said they have gone some way to tackle the landowners to be responsible for their land, and that the council will not hesitate to prosecute fly tippers where they have sufficient evidence.
I'm the owner of Ria's Botanic Lounge. This plot of land is right next door to my shop, and it's been building over the past 5-6 years since it's been sold off to a private owner. Prior to that, it was maintained, well maintained. You know, we used to have children playing football on it. You know, people would walk their dogs on it, right? And now lately, it's just become a common dumping ground for everyone. You've got everything from the kitchen sink to toilets to bathrooms to bedrooms. You know, everything you can find in there, all junk's here. You know, people come along, throw it in here, and for me, being right on my doorstep, you know, I've got rats running around, and I'm losing business because women are walking in and they think it's our mess. After speaking to various newspapers, councillors, local councillors, they did put up CCTV cameras on one of the lampposts here just trying to get shots of, you know, people who are fly tipping, you know, but I don't know how successful that is.
We run a business here for over 30 years, supplying uniforms. This area has just gone, it's ruined. I mean, drugs, rats, people throwing rubbish, council are not doing nothing, police just drive past, ignore it. What are we supposed to do? The council, I've written emails to them, Lord Mayor, contacted Lord Mayor, nothing happens.
We'd like this to go back to what it was, nice, well-tamed, well-maintained, clean, you know, and I don't know how it's going to happen. Yeah? Or whoever owns it, you know, at least board it up, or at least do something to it, and get rid of this mess.
Footage shows the mess that was left behind after a homeowner demolished a monster mansion he built without planning permission. The man sparked anger when he knocked down his modest semi-detached house in the West Midlands and tried to replace it with a £300,000 4-bedroom property. Residents said the building work made their lives hell, and others described the eyesore as like a travel lodge in the middle of a housing estate. Despite the illegal building having been demolished, piles of rubbish and building materials were left behind. A local said the area looked just as bad, if not worse, due to the mess, adding that the road looked like a construction site in the middle of Birmingham. Thanks for watching another episode of Caught on Camera. If you're watching us on shotstv.com or Freeview, thanks so much for supporting our channel. Stay tuned for more authentic UK television coming up. Thanks for watching.